The Philippine Constitution Association is urging the Senate to proceed with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The group is considered the country's oldest and most authoritative voice on constitutional law. Led by its chairman, retired Chief Justice Renato Puno, the group reminds senators that the accountability of public officials should not be thwarted by what he calls procedural inventions or partisan maneuvering. According to the group, any act or device that circumvents the Senate's constitutional duty threatens democratic institutions. The statement comes after the Senate convened as an impeachment court and opted to remand the articles of impeachment to the House of Representatives. Citing alleged constitutional infirmities, the impeachment court asked for the lower chamber to certify it did not violate the provision limiting impeachment proceedings against an official to only one per year. The Philippine Constitution Association raises several constitutional concerns on the Senate's move to remand the impeachment articles. The group says the Senate's action raises concerns on grave abuse of discretion and encroachment on the House's exclusive power. The group questions whether the lack of certification from the House justifies the remand of the impeachment case and the suspension of the trial. It believes that no such requirement exists under the Constitution or established impeachment practice. It asks whether introducing requirements not specified in the Constitution or Senate rules serves as a tactic to delay or defeat the trial. The group also questions whether raising potential defenses for the respondent compromises the impeachment court's impartiality. The House of Representatives has since adopted a resolution certifying that the impeachment complaint against Duterte complies with constitutional requirements. However, it deferred acceptance of the articles of impeachment until the Senate responds to clarificatory questions submitted by House prosecutors. Senate President Escudero is dismissing claims that returning the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte from the Senate to the House of Representatives is unconstitutional. Escudero on Thursday, June 12, says only the Supreme Court has the power to decide on the constitutionality of the senator judge's decision. For Escudero, the impeachment court's order isn't automatically considered unconstitutional just because some senators or congressmen say so. According to the Senate chief, the rules of court state that the impeachment court is sui generis, meaning it's a class of its own. He says the impeachment court can do whatever it is voted upon. If anyone disagrees, Escudero says they are free to bring it before the Supreme Court and let the High Court decide. With 18 affirmative votes and 5 negative votes, the impeachment court decided to return the articles of impeachment against Duterte to the House. In this decision, the court asked the lower chamber to certify that it did not violate the Constitution for allegedly initiating more than one impeachment complaint in a year. The court likewise asked the lower chamber to communicate whether or not the 20th Congress is willing and ready to pursue the impeachment complaint against the Vice President. But the lower chamber opted to defer the acceptance of the articles of impeachment. The lower chamber said it won't accept the impeachment articles until impeachment court clarifies queries raised by House prosecutors on the remand. Both chambers of Congress adjourned sine die in the third regular session of the 19th Congress on Wednesday, June 11. Vice President Sara Duterte claims there was fraud in the 2025 senatorial elections and that 3 more Partido Demokratiko Pilipino bets supposedly won. Duterte attended on Thursday, June 12, an Independence Day event with Filipinos in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Former PDP senatorial candidates J.V. Hinlo, Jimmy Bondoc, and Richard Mata joined her. In her remarks during the event, Duterte says it was impossible that the numbers that came out during the midterm elections were true.
Tapos na naman ang kampanya. Totoo yun. Pero bakit nandito si Attorney Hinlo, si Attorney Bondoc, si Dr. Mata? Kasi po, para sa akin, at alam kong totoo, nanalo po sila sa eleksyon nung nakaraan. Kausap ko po IT experts na nagsasabi hindi talaga pwede na totoo yung mga numero na lumabas.
Duterte believes that PDP bets performed well in the local absentee and overseas voting. She says this would have also been reflected in the overall results.
Karanasan ko po noong 2022, una ko pong nalaman na baka manalo ako bilang Vice President dahil una pong lumabas ang absentee voting, ang OFW vote. Nakita ko po doon ang panalo ko. Ganun po ang nangyari sa kanila. Panalo po sila sa OFW vote, sa absentee voting. Hindi po ako IT expert, kaya sinabihan ko po ang PDP sabi ko, kayo ang partido. Questionin nyo kung paano ginawa ang proseso ng bilangan.
The Commission on Elections has yet to comment on Duterte's claims. In the days after the May 12 polls, the 7 PDP Laban who lost their Senate bids demanded a manual recount of votes. They also called for an investigation into the alleged anomalies in the 2025 elections. In response, the Comelec said the only way to trigger a manual recount of votes is to file an electoral protest. 3 PDP Laban bets won the 2025 senatorial race, namely Senators Bongo and Bato de la Rosa and Senator-elect Rodante Marcoleta. The Commission on Elections will call for an all-official emergency meeting after Congress ratified a proposed law extending the term of elected barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan officials. In an interview on Thursday, June 12, Comelec Chairperson George Erwin Garcia says the Commission will adhere to what was agreed upon by both chambers of Congress. Garcia says they will wait for President Bongbong Marcos to decide whether or not he will sign the proposed bill into law. In the meantime, Garcia says they will discuss the preparations and procurement that may be halted in case the bill is passed. The Comelec chief cites certain items, such as the indelible ink, that they should halt the purchase of because they might get damaged. Apart from this, Garcia says they need to tackle the postponement of voters' registration scheduled for July. Should the measure be enacted, the regular barangay and SK elections will be postponed to the first Monday of November 2026 from the initial schedule of December 1, 2025. Garcia also cites the need to reassess the Comelec's budget for the barangay and SK elections, considering the change proposed by lawmakers. The House of Representatives and the Senate approved and ratified on Wednesday, June 11, the Bicameral Conference Committee report setting the term of office of barangay and SK officials. It now only needs the President's signature to become a law. Under the measure, the term of office of all elected barangay and SK officials shall be extended to 4 years from the current 3 years. Barangay officials will be able to serve a maximum of 3 terms in the same position, while SK officials can serve 1 term in the same position. House of Representatives spokesperson Princess Abante says the Senate did not want to convene a bicameral conference committee on the proposed minimum wage hike bills. In a statement on Thursday, June 12, Abante says it was the Senate that killed the proposals for a minimum wage hike for supposedly not wanting to talk. She says House lawmakers were trying to discuss a possible compromise between their 200 peso wage hike proposal and the Senate's 100 peso hike proposal. Abante says the Senate preferred that the House adopt the upper chamber's version of the measure instead. According to Abante, the 100 peso wage hike seems low for the House members' preference. Abante says the House contingent was ready to discuss possible scenarios, but the Senate supposedly just wanted the House to follow their proposal. Furthermore, the House spokesperson believes the House version contains safeguards that would protect micro, small, and medium enterprises, which lawmakers wanted to be included in the final version. The 19th Congress ended its session on Wednesday, June 11, with neither the Senate and the House ratifying a final version of the bill nor adopting another chamber's proposal. This means the bill can no longer be forwarded to President Bongbong Marcos for his signature. The House on June 4 approved House Bill number 11376, which pushes for a 200 peso increase in the per-day salaries of minimum wage earners. Meanwhile, the Senate approved in February 2024 Senate Bill number 2534, which seeks a 100 peso daily minimum wage increase.